Hey guys, everything new under the sun. Well, you're looking at some clips, if I do this correctly, if I actually remember to put those clips in, of the kind of the last state of the camper before I stop work on it for the season. I'm kind of closing it all up. We are going on some vacation, some more vacation. I'm going to be working, but we're going to go and see some other family. And so this is kind of the current state of the camper as it is now. Now, every time I want to do a video and show you something, the only time I have to do it is usually, you know, when everybody's away or something. And of course, the car's away, and I want to show you the car because the last thing related to the trailer that we got going was that we got the brake controller installed. So my father was here, and this kind of stuff often takes two people to do. And so with him and between him and I, as the door smashes, or it might smash. There it is. Between him and I, we got the wiring figured out. There was a pre-existing brake controller in there. There was also what looked like an alarm system. And so we pulled that out first. It was kind of dangling there. It wasn't powered on. But I think it was like an engine shut-off security thing underneath the dash of the Honda. So we went ahead and pulled that out. It was his suggestion. I just unplugged everything. It wasn't powered up anyways. There's a green wire going to the battery, and I didn't know what that was, but that's apparently what that was. And that was just shoved up there by the previous owner. I guess they had disconnected it and shoved it up under. And oddly, there's no labeling on the unit itself, whatever security system, so I have no idea what it is. I assume it's a vehicle disabling system, or electronics for that. Anyways, I pulled that out. We got the brake controller installed. It's working. It's lit up. We put on the brakes, and all of a sudden the 7-pin diagram lights up. Now, I don't... Oh, yes, I have it here. So I did, here as you can see, I did a bunch of writing. I was taking notes as we were testing what each pin on the 7-pin diagram did. So if you look over here, I had kind of all the pins displayed. It's not completely up and down. And we basically, with him in the driver's seat, he'd push the brakes, push the signals, etc. And as one of the blades lit up with 12-volt power, I would go ahead and label it. So that's one good way to do it. You do need two people, obviously, to be able to do that. And so once we got this last pin here, this is for the brake controller. Once we get the brake controller installed, then this started lighting up. On the camper side, we then went ahead and kind of half plugged in the camper wiring harness. And then we basically went through and did all the same thing again. We did left turn signal, we did right turn signal, we hit the brakes. And I wrote down what color in the wiring harness of the camper related to what was happening on the back. And there was an incorrect connection between my left turn signal and the reverse lights. So we got that figured out and we got it running. There is no reverse light signal coming through the car 7-blade adapter. So I'm going to have to wire that in. I'm not sure if that's absolutely required for trailers or not. I think if the lights are there, then they have to work on the trailer, but I don't know. I need to check if you actually need reverse white lights on the back of the trailer as you do on a car, you know, when you put it in reverse and the white lights turn on. Alright, as you can see from the image on the screen, I went to my province, the government website for trailers. And according to the passenger car trailer registration, the lighting needs to include taillights, brake lights, license plate lights, clearance and side lamp markers, turn signals, reflectors, mudguards, fenders required. And left-right rear view mirrors required, I guess, for the car. So in terms of the camper itself, it doesn't seem like it needs reverse light. So that's something I'm going to have to follow up with and just see if inspection needs it or not. But according to this page, it does not. So, well, I'll probably do a follow-up video next year about this specific item. The other thing I found super helpful was this diagram, and I'd always looked for diagrams on the internet, but this one was nice and big, and it printed out to a full 8.5 by 11, and it shows all the wiring from the truck side over across to the camper side, the trailer side, what they're supposed to be. So with this, I was kind of able to figure out what does what. Yeah, okay. This one down here that I was pointing at was the trailer brake. So I was going to say I lied to you, but I didn't. Anyways, this was really helpful to be able to kind of, I literally went around and checked them off when I saw, 12 volts to each one as my dad was hitting the brakes or hitting the signals, etc. So I got everything figured out, including the brake controller, which is sweet, except for the reverse lights, like I say, the backup lights. So I haven't figured that out quite yet. Ouch. I've got a spider crawling up my neck. There's a few spiders in here. Anyways. So yes, that is the update on the camper. And this is a really handy diagram. I don't know where I got it, but if you Google it, you'll find it on Google Images. 7-way RV style trailer plug wiring, aka Pollock or Bargman plug. There you go. So you can kind of Google that, and you should see something like this. This is really helpful. Then what you can do is you can go around and just check these off as you see power on each of the blades as someone's operating it in the vehicle. So that is good. That's a large part of the project done, because all I need to do now is actually hook up the brake wires. Not actually hook them up, just plug it into the car, hit the brakes, and see if I actually got 12 volt going to each of the wheels through the existing wiring. So I assume the existing wiring is intact. It's not perfect, but as long as it works, that's all I'm after. So that's kind of the next project I'll do as we get closer to actually getting this camper on the road. And the plan right now is to get it on the road for next year, legal, which means I need 4 new tires and rims, four tires and rims, because it's got the old split rim rims on it, which are dangerous and nobody works on them anymore. I don't think they're absolutely illegal, but they're not sold anymore, and shops don't work on them because people get killed, I guess, inflating them. So that's going to be about $1,000 Canadian for that. I need to get, I may need some new brake pads, and then once I've done that, I think I can take it in for inspection. I'm hoping they're not going to look at the axle and say you need a new axle or something like that, because that would be a whole another $2,000 to replace both axles. Although those are pretty plug and play. You kind of buy the whole axle, brake, and everything, and you just plug it on your camper. But that's $2,000 I haven't accounted for. So that's the update with the camper. One thing we will be doing is getting a quote from a local woodworker. He's going to come and look at it, and he's excellent at what do you call it? Artsy or crafty kind of wood look, where you take natural branches and wood and varnish it up so it looks very rustic. And that's kind of the look we want to go with in here, rustic slash kind of the inside of a ship sort of feel. But I'm thinking I'll get him to build maybe the wall here and the door, just to kind of build that bathroom area back into the back, because I can't do that very nicely. Not with the curves. The curves are hard, and of course making a proper door and such, that's going to be hard. I may even see if he could make a cool looking kind of nautical sort of door for this area right here, just prior to the captain's, or whatever you call these, captain's beds. And other than that, we'll just get him to kind of finish out. We don't know exactly what we're going to get him to do, to be honest. We're just going to get him to look around and see how he can kind of fix it up or freshen it up and make the interior look good. This board here, this panel needs to be replaced, and the fridge needs to come out. Ideally, I'd like to keep the existing cupboards up top, but I don't know. We're going to have him come look at it, give us an estimate, give us a timeline, and see what he thinks he can do. If he has any inspiration, because he is a very he has a lot of art skills. He has a good eye for things. He makes art out of driftwood and that sort of thing. So It would be interesting to see what his thoughts are and how you could kind of beautify the interior and complete the interior. That's what I'm hoping to do with his help. So that's an update on the camper. I don't know what else I'll show you about that. I think I'll just leave it there. And this will probably be the last video for the camper. I'm going to winterize it. I'll be shutting all the doors because we do get windstorms where the snow actually blows in. And of course I'll have to completely close off the vent here. So I'm very glad I got a vent. These things are worth their weight in gold. Of course they're not very heavy, but to have a proper seal on the top of your camper is obviously key to preserving it, and to have a proper vent that I can actually tighten up and close is key. And of course all these locks work as well. We did camp in this with my sister and brother-in-law, their family, and all the screens worked well. So I slept on these cushions here, and the kids slept on the beds here with a few cushions or sheets rolled up for cushioning. And that worked out well. There was no mosquitoes, although there wasn't very many mosquitoes that night anyways. Wasn't much for bugs. So in terms of tightening it up for insects and that sort of thing, it worked out really well. So I'm pretty happy with that. And so from that point of view, the major work, I won't say the major work, but kind of the bones, the work on the bones of the camper are kind of complete at this point. I.e., I've got the floor painted, I've got stuff sealed up, I've got the frame fixed up to where it's going to be enough. I've still got to do some welding on the outside of the bumper, but I've got it to a place where now we can kind of start looking towards and dreaming about how are we going to finish this, what floor are we going to put down, how are we going to finish the wall. So right now these are just whitewashed, literally. I was going to say that's the original. I guess that's more like the original aluminum that was up here. This curved part is fiberglass. That's the yellowish part. It's all fiberglass there to make that curve. So yeah, we need to see how we finish this, and I'm interested to get some ideas from the guy because he has an eye for this sort of thing and making things look good. So I'm interested to see what he says. We've thought about shiplap, tongue and groove, pine boarding. And there's many people who have added shiplap to their camper. I think that would be really cool. It's work intensive, but the look is really good. Now doing it around the curves, I don't know what we would do there, but I'm willing to throw a couple of $1,000s at it to have someone come in and kind of more professionally, with an eye for finishing detail, to come in and do this camper upright. The dream later on is maybe to Airbnb this. I have to put a bathroom in the back, so that's why I'm putting the wall there and getting it kind of set up the way it was before, with a wall and a door, and then I can build into it a bathroom shower area. I don't know if you can get bathroom kits for these that are easy. I could put the black tank right on the ground there and then build a platform that you kind of walk up into to get up over to encapsulate the black tank basically, and then have your toilet and your shower, or vice versa. In this one, I think the shower used to be over here and the toilet was here. So if you had a little step up, half a foot, bathroom going into a black tank, and then a short shower. Now we are short people. This isn't too tall here, so in terms of a shower, you wouldn't want to step up too far because you're already losing a lot of space. I could probably put the black tank again underneath. I could put some rails or something underneath to hold it, because I kind of peeled back the aluminum from underneath, so that's kind of exposed. So that is something I could do if I wanted to, but we're nowhere near putting a bathroom into it at this point. We're just going to try and get it legal, get it ready for the road next year, and go from there basically. But we do have ideas of wanting to Airbnb this camper. Let's see, I think that's it. That was the major work that I got done that I needed help with, and it was handy that my dad was vacationing here to kind of give me a hand to actually finalize all the wiring, figure out what's what. You really need, it's hard to use, like I was using my son to do left turn signal, right turn signal, but you can't really use them to put the car in reverse to make sure that the reverse lights work and these sorts of things. So it's kind of handy to have another adult around. And of course, my wife is looking after the kids. So when you got kids, you can't do a ton. It's hard to schedule around that. So. Oh yeah, the table's all done. I did do I think the last video was all with that. The table's done to where I'm happy with it for now. You know, all these things need to be finished, but right now everything's functional. And then later on, when we get the guy who is going to come and finish it, he can look at that and see if he can resurface it or what other ideas he may have for it. All right, well, I'll leave it there. Just a bit of an Airstream update, and hopefully I'll have a whole bunch of extra videos that I'm overlaying on this. In terms of the brake controller and that sort of thing. Hopefully I remember that. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you maybe next year in the Airstream series if I don't get to another project here sooner than that.